Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here. It is Friday, so end of the week. Glad that we all made it here. Today's deck is super casual. This is just meant for fun. I really wanted to build a deck based around this Malicious motivation skill. Now, I do think in the near future we're going to get some cards that are going to actually help this out a little bit better. But for right now, this really is just sort of like a side deck tech. When you're playing against a player that's more aggressive, gets the field built up better, you want to use this skill. Now, this skill flips over when you choose to activate it. And the way it works is once per duel, if your opponent controls 3 monsters, again, that's a full board for us right now, discard 1 card, then destroy all monsters the opponent controls. For the remainder of this turn, any damage the opponent takes is half. This could still go into a full board wipe, but this is essentially like being able to Geki, but only if they have full board. So this deck, again, this is probably not going to even win locals. This is just like a goofball thing. I really wanted to make this, and I'm going to keep working on this one in the future. But to start, we're going to go with 3 Elemental Hero Wild Hearts. So first and foremost, this guy is just unaffected by traps. That's all you need to know. 4-star, 1500 by 1600. That's it. Next up, we're going to play some Gilosaurus copies. 3. The reason is because normally when we special summon this, we try to make sure the opponent doesn't have anything in their discard to special summon. But if they do, and it happens to fill up their field, then we can just aggressively go after them with the Malicious motivation right then. Which again allows us to build our board while working towards the goal. And then the last monster I'm running in the main deck is 3 Hyper Hammerheads. Again, just kind of like Weenie Earth Control, I guess. The way that this one works, at the end of the damage step, if an opponent's monster that battled with this card is not destroyed, return it to the hand. And so again, if I run into a defense monster, great, it bounces. If it runs into me and it beats me, cool, it bounces. If it runs into me and it doesn't beat me and I'm not in attack mode, cool, it bounces. There are a ton of issues with this, but like for the most part, you just want to set him up to where he's going to be more of a detraction from battle. This way we can go ahead and get their field zones filled up. Next up, 3 Books of Moon. It's pretty easy. We're going to use it to create a non-aggression. If you want, and you don't think Jinzo is going to be an ideal threat against you, you can just swap these out with negate attacks. It just would stop the whole battle phase. But generally, if there's only like 1 monster that they could do anything with, which is usually the case, Book of Moon. Feel free to make your own swaps. 3 copies MST. We're just going to go ahead and pick apart their back row. Again, once we get their field blown away, we don't want to run into a back row. A back row could decimate us in just 1 or 2 cards. Next up, Shallow Grave. Haven't seen these ones since whatever SBLS is. So Battle of something. I don't even remember. I'm not going to pretend to know. So Shallow Grave. Both players target a card in their graveyard and special summon them back in face down defense. This card's actually really good. Again, we're going to use this to sort of move up the turn counters on the Malicious motivation. If we go second and somehow we were able to activate the Shallow Grave and Gilosaurus at the same turn, we could fill their field and go ahead and destroy their field. Not that big of a deal. This also lets us reset Hyper Hammerheads later to get more effects. And then last but not least, we're going to be using some Zero Gravities. Again, this is sort of like a turn negation for attacks. One thing it's not going to do is affect Wild Heart. Wild Heart will continue to move through one of these. It just is what it is. This is kind of just like a goofball main deck. So again, 20 cards. Like it or love it. Hate it maybe. This is it. If you guys give me a moment, I'll get to the side and extras in just a moment. All right, starting with the side deck. We had to put in some like kind of real options here. So first and foremost, we're doing 2 Lost Winds. Everybody in our deck is like 15 or 1400 points. So we do need to have our opponent's special summons. We need to make sure that the ones that have effects don't retain those effects. And again, if they try to special summon out of the extra deck after this is already in our discard pile, we can put this back on the board. So, good stuff all the way around. I snuck 2 Sakuretsu armor into my side deck today. Again, this just helps you pick and choose your battles. And 2 copies Waking the Dragon, because let's face it, this deck really needs access to the extra deck. And after we set up the fact that there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be face down in the back row, we pretty much guarantee that they're going to go after those cards to try to destroy and or banish them, allowing us to play some of the big cards. And again, being able to play the big cards means that maybe our opponents will either just start playing defense. We can wait and go for the moment where they decide to fill up their field. We could speed that up for them with a Shallow Grave and then wipe the field. Games 2 and 3 are probably where this deck is going to shine. This deck probably will not do super well in game 1. And, you know, I don't know. It's a fun deck. This is a casual channel. I really wanted to build this. If you want to, I suppose you can put all this stuff into the main deck and just run a higher deck count. You guys let me know. I'll see you guys next time. Later.